All right, welcome back to Down Under Football Crew, ladies and gentlemen. Monday night here in Australia. I was going to say Monday Night Raw. Felt like WWE for a second. It's not even WWE anymore. I don't know what it is.
It might be. It might be later.
It might be.
It is.
It might be. Is it still WWE, Younes, or is it
Yeah.
called something else now?
But there is AEW now. Competition.
So man, I'm old school. Back in the WWE Monday Night Raw. But ladies and gentlemen, Monday night obviously in Australia, and as you know, it's done under Football Crew. And as you can see, Younes is here, special guest. Last week I had Leias, this week Younes. We're going to try and see if we can mix things up every now and then, bring new people in, and we're really, really happy to have Younes here today. And Younes, my man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on. I mean, we're normally like every Thursday with Matisse. It's nice that I'm on it. So thank you for bringing me, man. And it's nice to meet the other lads as well. So I'm looking forward to this.
This is brilliant, man. Yeah, you're right. Every Thursday is all you can eat Chelsea, but today we've got you, which is fantastic. Scott, my man, how's things?
I'm good. I'm rocking my best Pablo Escobar outfit for tonight. It's a
that mo is.
Yeah, well, look, I'm doing some fundraising for Movember, which obviously supports men's mental health and prostate and testicular cancer. So I'm not very good at running marathons, but I can grow a mean moustache in very little time. So always a pleasure, boys. And Younes, pleasure to have you on as well, man. We haven't linked up for obvious reasons if you look at the badge, but good to have you here, man.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Look, each to their own. We can only do what we can do. We'll leave the marathon for people like RJ, who's an athlete. RJ, my boy, how you doing?
Well, what an entrance. No, thanks very much. And Pablo Escobar, it's nice to have him in the house. But as we said offline, pleasure to get Younes on board. Obviously a big fan of what he does in the Chelsea community. And for me personally, just been working hard. I've been wearing my 10-kilo vest and trying to also raise a few funds for a few mental well-being issues. But you know what? We're here to talk Premier League. So let's not muck around too much and get straight into it, eh?
Brilliant. Already quite a few people on. Smash the like button straight away, so that it gets exposed to more fans out there. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out the boys, especially Scott and RJ, their channel. The links are in the description. And Younes, I mean, ladies, if you haven't subscribed yet, please go out there and subscribe. I'm pretty sure you have. But if you haven't, just in case, for some reason, you don't know who Younes is, which is madness, go and subscribe. His link is in the description as well. Younes, you're getting very, very close to 100,000, man. I think last I checked, you were close to 94K. So it's just around the
next couple of days should be 94, and then not long.
We are celebrating, Younes. We are celebrating the 100K.
100%.
With the quintuple this season, we'll celebrate.
That'll be crazy. Best year ever. Yeah, no, we'll do something.
We have to do something. All right, without further ado, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to try and get to Premier League's best 11 for the season so far. We'll get the the squad builder out very soon. But before that, let's hit the intro. All right, man. I love that intro, man. I could play that intro every day, all night. I love it. All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be quite interesting. We've got the FIFA squad builder. I don't really play these, but I think it's FIFA Ultimate Team Builder.
Ultimate Team.
Ultimate Team. I wish I played, but a lot of people play this and they have a lot of fun out of it. But we are going to build a squad today, Premier League's best 11, the season so far. Let's go to Younes. We'll start from the top, and we'll go with the number 9. By the way, we are going with a 4-3-3 formation because it's too difficult to do this 5-2 Chelsea style of formation because that's a very specific sort of style. We're going with the standard 4-3-3, fluid football, and just because some of our players are suited at the moment in a 5 at the back, that doesn't necessarily mean they can't play at a 4. So if they're someone like, for example, Reece James, who's been so fantastic on the right side, we can still obviously have him as a right back. So that's just the caveat. We'll start from the top. Younes, who's your man? Who's your number 9 that you're thinking has had a supreme season so far?
Number 9. I know Mo Salah is, seen as the top goal scorer, but we're not going to stick him up top as a 9. So I'm going to go with Antonio of West Ham.
You know what?
Smashed it.
I think that's pretty much in everyone's mind. That's my choice as well. But RJ, I'll go to you. Have you got any particular spanner up there for number 9, or Antonio set in stone?
Nah, for me, he's been really physical, and I think given the absence of Lukaku, who would have probably given him a run for his money, I'd say. But yeah, trying to be objective as possible. He's been a bully, and I'm really excited to see what he's been doing for the Hammers at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got a lot. I just want to have a quick look at his stats. Antonio.
I know there's also Jamie Vardy, who I think's been underrated this season. He's done well, and no one's paid attention. But
he's warming up nicely.
Leicester are not doing well. But
Vardy has banged in 7 goals this season. Antonio's on 6.
What, in the Premier League?
Antonio did miss some matches.
So. Yeah, and Vardy did slow. He started off, because I didn't in my fantasy team, he started off quite slowly. So what happens is I take him out and he starts scoring. So that's all you need to do.
I did the exact same thing, man.
That's classic, man. That's exactly what happens, man. As soon as you take someone off, they want to start playing like, prime, Brazilian Ronaldo. But yeah, Antonio, 6 goals, 3 assists. I mean, it's very difficult to go past. I think he's been the most, I suppose, not clinical. Surprising, definitely. But the word that I'm looking for, powerful, very powerful up front. I think that's one thing we can say. Okay, that's pretty much set in stone. Scott, you're probably going with Antonio as well. Have you got a different sort of player here? Aubameyang, perhaps, like I said?
Oh, look, maybe if we looked at the last couple of weeks.
No.
No, in all seriousness, I think one of the impressive things about Antonio, and we're probably not all going to unanimously agree much tonight, so let's enjoy it while it lasts. But I think with him, you've got to understand he's playing in a team that are performing really, really well. But he's not surrounded by a whole bunch of stars who are providing, top quality service. A lot of his end game is coming from really hard work, really aggressive game up front. And I think he's been the best so far. It would be very hard to argue for someone else.
No, absolutely. I can see a couple of comments saying Salah has false nine. Something to think about down the track. We'll keep in mind if we have any sort of disagreements elsewhere. Ibrahim Ahmed saying change the formation to a 4-3-3. Miz, this is a 4-3-3. I'm pretty certain this is a 4-3-3 unless I'm looking at something else. Ibrahim.
You could be specific with like a defensive mid potentially or an attacking mid, but I think it's a full formation.
Wait. Is there all these? Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, if it's neutral or attack minded or
there we go. There we go.
That's what they meant.
Ibrahim Ahmed, you're onto something, mate. You're onto you play this. I know you play this. I don't play this, but it is what it is. Okay, let's go with the wingers. We'll go with Scott this time. Scott, your left-sided winger. Who's it going to be?
Left is tough. Left for me is tough. Can we do right?
Oh, well, that's easy. We'll leave that. We'll go with left. I think we can all lock in Mo Salah on the right side.
You might as well put him in, man. Put him in.
We might as well.
Chuck Mo in. That's non-negotiable.
That's a non-negotiable. It's not even...
Yeah, he's earned his spot, no doubt about it.
There's not even debate about that one. But left side, Scott. Throw me some names.
There's some good names coming up in the live chat as well. Like I'm seeing Grealish mentioned
in
there.
No way, Grealish. He's been poor.
Grealish has played better than his stats show. Like, okay, he's not banging in goals. I'm not saying he's my man, but I don't think he'd be someone you completely laugh off. He's not banged in goals.
Yeah.
But he played quite well. I can see Emil Smith-Rowe thrown in there, but look, Smith-Rowe's really only hit that form recently. If we're looking at a team of the season, it's hard to go past. I'm stumped, boys. I'm absolutely stumped on my left-hand side.
how about this? I'll come back to you. Let's go to RJ. RJ, have you got any particular name that you're thinking on the left side? Think about, I don't know, who's Man United been playing? I don't think Grealish is. Foden, I don't know if he's really had a supreme
the trouble is consistency. You see what I mean? Like, for me, you're getting patches of players that are hitting some good form. Like even for us,
name's out there, RJ.
Son's been thrown out there. Like we said, you've thrown out the Fodens of the world. Smith Rowe is in good form at the moment, and I wouldn't laugh at putting him there. But you're looking at it over 11 game period, and I find this position to be the most troublesome in terms of locking down my number one contender for it. But look, for me, I've got about 3 or 4 names that I'd line up there. And to be honest, because we don't play with that formation, I know we have left-sided attackers. It's something that, for me, I don't really have a standout. Like Ben Rama's a good chat. I know Rafinha. But
what about Mane?
Yeah, but he hasn't been in good form, in my opinion. Like, he's been pretty up and down. I don't know.
It's difficult with that position because it depends. Are we happy to stick a name that normally plays, say, for example, as an attacking mid on the left wing just for this, or are we going to stick them in a centre mid? Because if you're talking about a Smith Rowe or a Ben Rama, they're not left wingers.
True.
But they are attacking players. So are we considering them in the front line?
So
it's tough because Mane, other names are there too. It's difficult.
Do we perhaps change the formation then to fit in someone who's worthy of being in the team? Because if there's no left winger, why are we playing this formation? Do you know what I mean? Should we play with a 4-4-2?
What formation? But then, like a Salah, for example, on that right wing, that is him, isn't it?
Well, Salah will be up front with Antonio in a 4-4-2.
Okay, I'm
Should
cool
we
with
do
that.
that, boys? What do you think? If we can't really lock down a left winger,
he's flexible enough to play there. That's for sure. So
yeah, I mean, look at some of the names in the live chat as well. Foden, just Mount, Rafinha.
Rafinha's a good shout.
I saw. That's what I was saying after Foden. Yeah.
Shall we then stick in Rafinha, even though I don't think he plays on the right side? I think he plays on the left side. Sorry, he plays on the right side. He doesn't play on the left side. Should we compromise and put Rafinha on the left side? What do you think?
We could do.
Yeah.
The 4-1-4-1's a good shout as well. It does give exposure to all positions, if you know what I mean.
Can you chuck 4-1-4-1 on? Let's have a look at it.
Because you end up having to choose a DM. You end up having to choose 2 good central midfielders, 2 wingers, 1 striker. I think that's a good balance of all positions if we're talking about team of the season.
I think that's
so Salah would go on the right. Yeah.
He's a little bit deeper than you'd like, but that's not to say he can't play there. We obviously know he can dribble, but the reality is it's fixed on screen, but it's obviously very fluid in reality. It's never like that. Exactly.
Some people are saying Demarai Gray from Everton on the left side. I mean, I don't know if Everton's been that good. I know he's had some good games, but
if you're going to Murray Gray, I think you'd potentially look at Son, or you'd look at an Emil Smith Rowe potentially on the left. I would prefer one of those two than Gray. I don't know. Look, I still don't think Grealish has been a poor performer. I know the goals aren't there, but he's been pivotal to what City are doing. Very involved in the build-up of their play. Like, he's been fit. I don't know, but potentially Son, I would lean towards. He had a great start.
I would have to say Son as well. If there's anyone, I know Spurs haven't been that great, but he'd have to be their standout player.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards Rafinha, to be honest, in terms of the influence on a very struggling Leeds outfit at the moment. But it's one of those things where he's a product of his environment, and the environment's not going very well for him at the moment. So it is a tough one, that's for sure.
But it's not for Son either. I mean, Spurs have been abysmal, manager change. Like, his environment's not been great either.
Yeah.
What about the cheat code, Ronaldo? He is a cheat code. He is United. If it wasn't for him, there'd be relegation. So I don't know.
I just realized this team probably won't have Ronaldo. Was Ronaldo?
No, it probably wouldn't.
I mean, is he meant to be in this conversation?
You know, it's mad. I think United have let him down rather than he hasn't let United down. If anything, he's actually helped them. But they're holding him back. Ollie's holding him back, so
And
I don't know. He should be, but I don't think he will.
And let's be honest, last couple of games, Man City and Liverpool, although, he did score against Spurs, those two games he didn't show up. So it is what it is. All right, let's lock in a particular name as close as we can. Younes, I'll go with you. Who's the name that you're thinking?
The two that spring to mind is Rafinha, and I have to say, even though this isn't his position, but it's relatable, Bernardo Silva's been really, really good. So
I was more thinking I was going to play Bernardo Silva inside. He's one of these spots that
cool
100% taken.
That suits me then. So I'd like to go Rafinha. I think it's deserved.
RJ?
I'm comfortable with that. At the moment, again, there's no one banging down the door like Salah that says, I'm owning this position. But that's why it's match week 11. So,
Scott?
Yeah,
Happy
I'm
with
cool with
Rafinha?
Rafinha. Let's agree.
All right, let's lock this in. Rafinha is 84. That's pretty incredible. Okay, let's go with the midfield three. This is where the engine room, as we call it, it's going to be interesting. I think let's go with one of the names we have to, as Younes already mentioned, Bernardo Silva is one that I wanted in the team. I think I can see nods from Scott as well and RJ. Let's plug him in straight away. Are we going to put Bernardo Silva on the right or the left? Where do you guys want him?
Right, I
Doesn't
think.
matter with him.
But
yeah, I put him on the right, though. I put him on the right
side.
We're agreeing a fair bit, gents. I thought we were going to be.
But this. Yeah, you know what though? This position here, I found the midfield three. There's a real stack of quality, high-performing midfielders at the moment. I'm going to struggle.
Yeah.
This is where we will have a debate. This is where we all have a different taste. So far, it's been fairly okay because at the end of the day, there's only a handful of teams that are really balling out in the Premier League at the moment. And the rest are just dwindling around. But these two positions, the next two, I think this is where it's going to get interesting. I'll go with you, Younes. The lone DM or the sitter. Who is your sitter?
I have to say, as much as
you're going to say Declan Rice, aren't you?
As much as I love Jorginho and all that, yeah. But look, let's be real. it's got to be Rice. It's got to be Rice. So far this season, in terms of the games we've played, it's got to be Rice. He's been class in that role for West Ham. So
all I'm going to say though, Younes, he's actually not been the sitter lately for West Ham this season. He's been actually the one going forward, and Souček has been the one sitting back. And he can still play. It's not like he can't play that. He can definitely be penciled down. RJ, any particular sitter that you're thinking in your head that shines out? I mean, Rice is definitely a standout.
Well, he does. And the reason why he's also been very consistent, and not just consistent, but he's been, look, Rodri was another one I'm thinking too that had been in form. But think about it. Declan Rice against Liverpool was immense. So it's not like he's just performing against the minnows. He's been, and look at his stats on Opta, like he was in unbelievable form and he just continues to go strength from strength. I like the name that Prashant threw in there around Tielemans. He was someone that was that person I was speaking about offline as one of my bolters for being in here. But again, it's a tough position to get into. But I would lock in Rice there for me.
I like Rodri, actually. Rodri's been supreme. I know Rice has been fantastic, but if I'm going to have a sitter who's going to be connecting the defense to offense, I would
It depends on the style of play, I suppose, and also who's sitting around him too. So
we are not counter-attacking RJ here. We are possession-based here. We are Pep Guardiola here. Do you know what I mean? Thomas Tuchel. That's what we're playing right now, possession-based football.
The thing is, Rice, I'd only consider Rice in that role, even though he does push forward, because if we're talking about the other centre mids that we're going to debate, Rice doesn't make it there. There are names that we have to talk about, and I don't think Rice gets in. So in terms of the DM,
this is probably where Rice is.
That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. But Tielemans is good too, yeah.
Scott, Rice, a shout for you. Rodri, some names been thrown around. Tielemans.
Look, to me, for that CDM role, Rice. And I think
not Thomas Partey, no?
No, certainly.
No party here, no party.
So there's no party time at the moment. But to me, it's got to be Declan Rice. And he was in the live chat as well. He's got the most tackles in the league. He will sit deep, but he's also someone in this team. If you're on a forward break and you needed someone else to support, he's going to do that. So I quite like Declan Rice, and what he's doing with West Ham at the moment's been brilliant. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
I think Rice's performances this season has been unbelievable. And as Younes and the lads, you guys have said that if there is a spot that Rice was going to make in this team, it had to be the DM, not the LCM position, which is remaining in midfield.
And he offers a lot of insurance, doesn't he? Because he's such a physically superior sort of player where you look at the players in front of him. I know the other CM's not picked yet, but that's just one word that connects all four of those players, and it's attack. So the fact that he can help bridge the gap in between and allow those in front of him to really get forward, I think having that in the Premier League especially, that physical engine is really pivotal, like, to excuse the pun, but you know what I mean? But Conor Gallagher is another one. I know he's not in the CDM role, but he's another name that needs to be thrown in this whole midfield conversation. So
100%, that's the name that's popping up as well. A few people, someone said Jude Bellingham. That's not a Premier League player.
Next season.
Next season.
coming to us next.
By the way, Basuma, that no one's thinking about him. I know he hasn't really featured for Brighton in the middle because
he was injured for a portion, wasn't he?
He was injured, and then he was doing some extracurricular activities as well, getting some points from his manager. But Fabinho, I don't know if he's played enough for Liverpool. Who are some of the top defensive midfielders in the Premier League? Is Declan Rice the only one right now?
He's the only one that stands out. If we're talking team of the season, that's the only one that stands out. I mean, like with us, we know Jorginho, for example, but we're not going to really put him in that conversation because he's not set the world alight.
Yeah,
he's been good.
Kovacic has been brilliant. Kovacic has been a player of our season contender for us, and I know he doesn't operate in a lone DM, but he has been really effective for us this season, and not just his dribbling skills, but 5 assists already, and he's been in real hot form. So had he not got injured recently, I think he'd definitely be continued in this conversation. I don't know.
To be honest, that's where I think the left centre mid conversation is where I think he has a shout.
It's very spicy. I think, defensive midfielder. Let's lock in Declan Rice. I think it's very difficult to say anyone else at the moment. And this is once again a message to Chelsea fans that so highly, some portion of them highly disregards him. And I just want to say, look at us four. We've tried to be as balanced as possible and probably at times not wanted to pick Rice, and yet Rice makes it to the team because of how excellent his season been so far. So some respect needs to be given to Declan Rice, 100%. Left centre mid, I will start with Scott. Come on, give me an Arsenal player, man. Give me one Arsenal player in that left centre mid, please.
You'll be surprised at where a couple of Arsenal players come up for me. But look, the problem is, and I'll look at our team, I certainly think we've got some players who could make the cut, but you can only have
in the subs, maybe.
You can only have one team of the season, yeah? And if you look at the live chat, you can see there's people blowing up about Tielemans, Rodri. With this, you've always got to leave quality out. You're not saying by any means that this is the only team. Like, it's not just because I'm in company of Chelsea fans, which is always a delight, but Kovacic is a good shout. If you wanted to play more offensive, you could potentially look at an Emil Smith-Rowe, who's been quite barnstorming from there. But
you would have Gallagher in front of Emil Smith-Rowe, though, right, Scott?
Conor Gallagher is definitely someone who could be in that team as well. There's plenty of good names. I do think Kovacic will provide a nice balance to this team. You look at Rafinha, Salah, they're going to be pushing up. Like in this team playing, they're going to be bombing forward. You can't just have the whole team up front. So Kovacic to me has good discipline. excellent positioning on the field. He's someone that might stand out at this point, but I'm also open to Gallagher. So either of the two for me.
That's who I'd lock in, man. I know he's one of us. I know he's playing at Crystal Palace, but the reality is that he has just been a player that has stood out. And you heard Thomas Tuchel. It's very hard to notice someone that's standing out every game. So you look at, and not just beyond the goals or contribution stats, 4 goals, 2 assists, whatever, but he's just box to box. He's got this indefatigable energy about him, and he's just someone that wants to take responsibility. And you're looking objectively across the league, and you just think this guy is punching above his weight. He was someone that was a good player. He went on loan. He came back. He's someone that I thought, okay, he's someone to watch. But even I'm the most optimist Chelsea fan. I didn't expect his rise to be so rapid this season under Vieira.
Yeah.
But to his credit, he's been on fire. And if he's not a top contender here, then I don't know what else he has to do, to be honest.
Nah, he's definitely one of the contenders. I'm seeing another name that's been thrown around, Saeed Benrahma. Younes, you know this player very well. 3 goals, 3 assists. Someone's just put that into the live chat. I mean, okay. So we've got Kovacic Younes, who's obviously, 5 Premier League assists, I think, this season so far.
Yes.
And God knows how many that he didn't get assists for. So there's that.
Exactly.
Conor Gallagher, unbelievable. Man of the match effort against Man City, followed it up with another goal against Wolves. I think 2 against West Ham as well when they were 2-0 down. A couple of assists in between. Against Arsenal, Scott, you know very well, Conor Gallagher came so close to getting a goal against you guys.
Yep.
Younes, Saeed Benrahma, though, his impact for West Ham has been quite impressive there. Does he get into the mix here as well?
I think he's the closest one to rival Conor Gallagher as of this season so far. The 4 names in my head are Kovacic, Smith Rowe, Benrahma, Gallagher. Those are the 4. If we're talking team of the season so far, you have to look on form. Who's playing the best? Kovacic, as much as we love him, maybe not Scott,
of course,
but
he loves him too. Don't worry, he loves him too.
deep down. But in terms of we're looking on form, the others I think are a step ahead so far this season. Smith Rowe, I think for Arsenal has been fantastic. He's been carrying that midfield.
3 goals, 3 consecutive goals back to back.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, one each.
Yeah.
So fair play to him, because he's a young lad that got thrown in and he's just he's taken it and he's ran with it. But Benrahma for West Ham has been class, and I've even seen Benrahma for international level, and saw him the other night, and he just looks more.
By the way, how was he? Was he fantastic for internationals?
Really, really good. Yeah, really, really good. He's confident. When he's confident, he's flamboyant. And when he's flamboyant, he'll be brave. He'll take players on. He'll start, coming up with skills on the spot. He provides those killer passes. For West Ham, he's been used perfectly. And that's what I was hoping for. But so far this season, if we're talking consistency, impact, I think Gallagher beats all of them. So far. So, yeah, we'll see what happens towards the end of the season and how it goes after Christmas. But for me, I think Gallagher just takes it.
There's a fifth name.
If we chucked Gallagher in, right? Yeah. If we chucked Gallagher in this team, actually, to ask you, you're Chelsea fans, right? You've got a vested interest in this guy, Gallagher. Gallagher or Silva at the moment for the team of the season? I'm not saying who's had the better career, who's the better player. Team of the season, Premier League form so far, if you could only have one of them, Silva or Gallagher? I've got
you talk about in midfield, Bernardo Silva or Gallagher?
In this team, yeah. In this team right now,
if I was to get to choose between Gallagher or Silva,
only them. If Kovacic was the other centre mid, who would you have playing in there?
It's got to be Silva. Bernardo Silva's been different.
But you can't look at it in isolation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you pick those 2 players, but it's which player suits best with the rest of those around him. So I really think it's difficult to say who you pick based on that. I look at this team. Bernardo Silva's a classier act, and he's got the credibility and the runs on the board. But I don't know. I think the fact that Connor is overperforming in a team that many expected to really, really be struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talk about players like Ronaldo carrying United. He's one of the players carrying Crystal Palace out of relegation. Like in my opinion, I know it's only early days, but on form alone and considering the context of which they're both performing in, Bernardo Silva is a class act amongst other class players. You know what I mean? So I think it's very different operating environments. And with that, for me, on form alone, only on form, I would be going Connor. And I think the fifth name I'd throw into the mix is also Tillemans, because he's been doing some great things for Leicester this season, not just scoring rockets as usual, but I think he's been really strong, and there's another name that could easily be talked in this conversation.
Let's have a look at the performances of the players that we've so far said, right? Conor Gallagher, 10 matches, 4 goals, 2 assists, 877 matches played, 1 Carabao Cup game, 2 goals against West Ham, 1 assist against Spurs. He probably could have even got a goal in that particular match. As we've already mentioned, Arsenal game, I remember watching that. He was fantastic. I didn't watch any of these middle stuff. Definitely watched the Man City one, a goal and an assist. Absolutely outstanding. Followed it up with another goal against Wolves. We can see how devastating he's been. And it's not just the goals and the assists. It's his pressing, counter-pressing, defensive work rate. Let's have a look at Bernardo Silva now. See what he's been up to. And so we'll look at Bernardo Silva. Stats for current season. So Bernardo Silva, 3 goals, 1 assist. I mean, we're probably going to be looking at production, right, in this midfield. I mean, as great as Bernardo Silva is, right now, Conor Gallagher beats him in production. So,
as does Emile Smith-Rowe. They both got higher. So that's what I'm saying. Would you chuck in a Conor Gallagher with potentially a Kovacic in there? Or do you kind of go all out for the young guns in the middle?
Depends on that team as well, doesn't it? I guess with that Man City team, all those players
I'm actually
around.
now doubting, boys. Why do we have Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, this is what I was saying.
Because, I mean, why are we picking Bernardo Silva? Is it for his production, or is it because he looks great on the ball? Like,
I'm not picking him.
I think it's
to me. Go on, Younes. You're right.
No,
you go.
I think it's the baggage that comes with him as well, isn't it? It's because what he does for Man City, that he has his moments. It gets attention. And I think that sticks with people's heads. Whereas I think with other players that are in slightly lesser teams, kind of get overshadowed a little bit or have to really try and prove themselves. And the names that we've mentioned, I think, only come on par with Bernardo Silva because Silva's been super consistent for Man City. So, I hear where you guys are coming from, to be honest. If anything, if we're talking form and we're talking output, I'd stick with everything there, but probably replace Bernardo Silva with Benrahma then.
Yeah, and look at this as well, boys. As Scott has been saying, Emile Smith-Rowe and Younes, you've said it as well.
Or Smith-Rowe too, yeah.
He's been brilliant, actually.
Yeah,
all the way from the Spurs game, 1 goal, 1 assist. He's been regularly playing as 90 minutes. Goal and assist against Aston Villa. I actually watched that match. He was fantastic that game.
Brilliant.
1 goal against Leicester. Yeah, you know what? Let's get back into the drawing board again, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm now doubting this name. He's like as great as. Sorry, Scott, go on.
Sack him. Bernardo Silva. Bernardo out.
So we got 3 players in 2 positions here. Then, if we're going to get rid of Silva, Gallagher, Smith-Rowe, Benrahma, who takes it to?
Yep. This guy's got to go, actually. As great as he's been, we're going with
and it's his team of the season so far. So it looks like Smith-Rowe's had a really good second half of the first part of this season. So this is the team of the season so far.
I mean, this is quite good.
It is.
From the 6th
same.
game onwards.
Look up Tillemans as well. Same thing, but he's 1 goal short.
Let's
so
look up
if we're not, it depends what's the most important thing here. Is it goals, assist, contribution, or is it
I think
the complete
production.
package?
Midfield production.
Exactly. Whereas I was looking on FBRF, and you look at Silva versus Conor Gallagher, and the main thing that separates them is Silva's better at progressive ball carries and is obviously a lot better at penetrating passes, etc., but is obviously a little bit inferior on the defensive aspects in terms of the blocks, interceptions, that side of the game, and that's because of the way City play. But for this particular team, and I know in the chat someone mentioned, it's imaginary team, don't worry too much about balance, but
You need
I want my team to win, and you kind of need balance with that. So I don't know. I think I'm naturally a bit more conservative and defensive minded, so that's why I can't go all
3 goals, 2 assists as well. 1 assist in Europa. So he's got a goal against West Ham, assist against Brighton, 1 against Burnley, goal against Man United. We all remember how he scored that one. That was not a fluke. Goal against Brentford. But I think
tough, isn't it?
Gallagher, but you know what? Let's bring up Said Benrahma. Let's see what this bad boy's been up to.
Miz, do we put it to a vote in the chat potentially? Between
I think we have to.
We could with Benrahma when you bring him up actually, because technically he's a winger. Talking his original position,
Not
he is
really
a
a
winger.
midfielder. Yeah.
He cuts in. He gets used as a 10 from time to time though. So where has he been used this season? If you look on the right hand side, positions played.
Younes, Benrahma scored 3 in Europa as well.
Yeah, he has.
Left wing.
He has. So you see, he's used both attacking mid and left winger.
Yeah.
We can
Also
also debate
attacking
Rafinha.
mid.
We can debate Rafinha. Is it Rafinha or Benrahma?
Yeah, I'm more open to that, to be honest with you.
I think
And
this
that
needs
opens
to be
up-
Benrahma. I think this needs to be Benrahma, to be honest. But
Word.
shall we bring up Rafinha's stats?
Bring up Rafinha. Yeah, we might as well. We've got to be fair.
Yeah.
He's carrying
Man,
it at the moment.
I was wondering. We were just going through the team just so easily.
easy.
Yep.
Chaos.
Pick that
Chaos.
one. Pick that.
Roadblock.
Now we're probably not even going to have a team. Let's have a look at what Rafinha's been up to. I think his stats are actually good.
Five
He
goals,
has been-
0 assists. The chat's saying. Yep.
Yeah, 5 goals. 5 goals in the Premier League. Goal against Everton, goal against Newcastle, goal against West Ham, goal against Norwich and Leicester.
No
I mean,
assist,
it's
though.
decent. It's
Look at
decent.
that.
I think
Look at the points.
Benrahma, though. He's given goals and assists.
Yeah.
He has, yeah.
Yeah. I think this one, boys, would you agree? This has to
Yeah.
say Benrahma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw him in there,
That
it's fine.
opens it up in central midfield as well. Then I think we go again. There's the debate, isn't there? There's Gallagher,
Conor Gallagher,
Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe.
Actually, we've cleared up Benrahma, so now it's Gallagher, Smith Rowe, and some are
Kovacic?
saying Kovacic.
Yeah, but
Kovacic has to be in the mix.
he's 1 goal, 5 assists, and he's been injured for
Yeah.
the last 3 games as well. So,
Yeah, Kovacic, and such a great. His dribbling stats as well. Isn't it one of the highest ones in the Premier League?
Yep.
Most successful dribbles. Defensive stats, let's not forget that. Kovacic is actually quite high up there defensively. Let's
like
have a quick look
Kovacic.
at his production. 1 goal, 5 assists, and all in the Premier League. And last 2 games he didn't even play because he's been injured.
Yep.
So 1 assist against Crystal Palace, goal and an assist against Aston Villa. That goal was really good, actually. How he dinked it over. Spurs assist, 2 assists against Norwich. He has to be in the mix too. He really does. He really does. So who do we have now? We've got Kovacic. We've got Conor
Gallagher and
Gallagher.
Smith Rowe.
Okay, 2 spots, 3 names.
I'll be honest. I think Gallagher makes it, and then the other 2 will have to fight for the last one. I think Gallagher
Boys.
deserves to be in that team.
RJ Scott, Gallagher makes it. Has to be.
For me,
I
he
have
would
to
be.
agree. RJ, you've been a staunch advocate of Gallagher as well. And I think, Scott, you've agreed that Gallagher has been fantastic.
Yeah.
So let's lock in Gallagher. I think he'll probably play on the right side. And this is impressive how Conor Gallagher is making it to the team of the season.
He's a silver. Oh
He's
my
silver,
God.
for heaven's sake.
That's crazy.
EA,
He's
get
outperforming, mate. He's outperforming. Don't sleep on him.
Next
He's
season, legend.
outperforming. He's now made it to the English national team as well. Incredible. Okay, Emil Smith-Rowe, Kovacic.
Oh, this is where Chelsea Arsenal coming in.
And you know Scott's going to get so much heat.
Boys, you know what? Think back though. I was the first one to bring Kovacic up.
You
did.
Yep.
You know, and I got a bit of stick in the live chat before saying, you know, it's an imaginary team. Don't worry about balance. But like RJ said, even when you're imagining a team, you want that team to have the best possible chance of winning. I think that there's enough creativity and there are enough goals in that team already. And what Emil Smith-Rowe brings is a dynamism and creativity and a spark. Does this team desperately need a spark, or does this team desperately need a little bit of experience in the middle, someone to balance that midfield out? To me, it's Kovacic.
I hear your point. Do you know what, Scott? Had you gone with Emil Smith-Rowe, I actually wouldn't have taken it, you know, in a wrong way.
But you know what as well?
Yeah. I think Smith-Rowe is a big shout here. I really do.
Yeah, but I think for
Smith-Rowe, it's the context.
He's big, exactly. It's the context, but it's also, I think, is that really even his flourishing position? Because I think he's better in those more advanced areas. And I actually I know he's playing more on the outside these days, but I see him as being more of a 10 type role. I think he's most effective there, even though he's doing a great job now. I think in that specific position, and knowing just how far Kovacic has come on this season at the moment, he's in his own purple patch. So I think he offers the most balance, and his dribbling is just out of this world. And the fact he's added goals and assists to his game, it's very hard to see how he doesn't make this team.
Live chat, let us know what your thoughts are, Kovacic or Emil Smith-Rowe. Younes, what you're thinking here?
If you're taking two players at face value, who are you picking, Kovacic or Smith-Rowe? Everyone and their mother would pick Kovacic. That's just logical, yeah. I mean, flipping out. He's, experienced. What his level is. Smith-Rowe is well, you could use the word project. I don't know. Should we use that word?
Scott hates that word.
But look, in terms of potential and what the player can become, absolutely, Smith-Rowe is a talent. We're talking this season, 11 games, right?
Yeah.
What Kovacic has in terms of stability, the manager, the team around him, it's life is good for him. Smith-Rowe, life's not so good at Arsenal. Yeah. So I look at Smith-Rowe, and he's carrying that Arsenal midfield. If it wasn't for Smith-Rowe, I don't see, the moment he got introduced, everyone was kind of doubtful. Before that, Arsenal had no one in terms of actually linking up, trying to get Aubameyang going, trying to get Lacazette up on form. Everyone was just struggling. Smith-Rowe came in and just became the glue. So you got to give credit for the 11 games. We're talking team of the season so far. That's the context that I'm on about. Smith-Rowe has a big shout here. Obviously, Kovacic is the better player overall in terms of fitting in the team. If we're talking in terms of the players that we've selected tactically, if we were to deploy this team, yes, you'd pick Kovacic. But form this season so far, I have my gut's telling me Smith-Rowe deserves it.
Wow, Younes is going Smith-Rowe. I was thinking you were going to go with Kovacic. As I said, I actually don't mind the shout of Smith-Rowe, but I do like what the boys RJ and Scott said, that, especially RJ, is that really a Smith-Rowe? But then again, I mean, this is just a formation.
No,
Smith-Rowe could easily be just
Kovacic
behind the
He'll be pushed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boys, how are we going to settle this?
Let's lock it in. So, who's your vote, Kovacic or Smith-Rowe?
I'm not going to argue with the big man, Younes. I can't argue with Younes. This is just going to look ridiculous if I argue with him and I'm in the Arsenal shirt. I'm locking in.
Chelsea fans are going for Smith-Rowe and Scott's going for Kovacic.
You want a Chelsea scarf, mate? We can convert you now if you want. It's not a problem.
He's in the closet, mate. He's been coming out for years.
He's a closet Chelsea fan anyway.
No, I'm going Kovacic. Put Kovacic in. Kovacic.
RJ?
I said it, man. A Croatian sensation. Smith Rowe's been, if this was the second half of the team of the season, then he's a shoo-in. But for me, it's the whole season, and I just think Smith Rowe's been slowly building up into the great form he's in. So, yeah, Kovacic for me.
I'm actually Smith Rowe because his form has been very good for the last 6-7 games, and I know Kovacic has been fantastic, but last couple of games obviously he's
live chat's going to have to help us here.
Live chat, this is up to you. We've got 2 Smith Rowes, Chelsea boys gone for Smith Rowes, and we've got Arsenal fan gone for Kovacic, and RJ obviously representing Chelsea gone for Kovacic.
Means can you chuck a poll in there?
Yeah, let's do that.
You can for sure. Do that. I have to say, over the long period of the whole season, if we come back to this conversation at the end of the season, I think Kovacic would have definitely had the better season. As of right now, though, 11 games. Smith Rowe's in a very good place. Can he keep it up? I don't know.
But even the fact that Kovacic has been out for the past 2 games and he's still already in front in terms of goal production, like that to me, because I'm looking at the whole 11 games and the fact that his headline stats are better, Smith Rowe's in better form, but that's only, would we be saying that had Kovacic not been injured? So we'll never know. It's hypothetical, but it's a good problem to have, put it that way. And we're even forgetting guys like, Tillemans again. I keep beating his drum, but it's good problems to have.
I've just put the poll there. We'll leave it for maximum, let's say, 1 minute. We'll obviously start discussing about maybe I'll keep it for 5 minutes. We'll start discussing about other positions. Meanwhile, already quite a lot of votes coming in. 20 votes in the first 10 seconds, 70% Kovacic, Emil Smith Rowe 30%, but we'll let it roll for a few more minutes. Meanwhile, we will head back to this particular situation again. We'll leave that for the next 5 minutes, blank. Let's go to the left back because I don't know who this player is going to be. I know some of you guys might be thinking Chilwell, but I'm not really sure though. Chilwell, Younes, only for the past few games though. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about 11 games. Chilwell only started last 4 games.
This guy plays 2 positions, mate. He plays left wing back and centre forward.
take Antonio out. Put Ben Chilwell out.
I was going to say put Reece James in the forward position before, but nobody would support me.
See, Cancelo. I think Cancelo plays in the right side.
Cancelo's a great shout, man.
He plays in the right side, but I think I would have him in the left as well.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think in terms of who deserves to play right back, that means you give Cancelo left back. That means you give Cancelo left back. So, yeah. What about, Luke Shaw? No?
Who?
No Man United players.
Surely not, Younes.
Surely not. Okay. Since right-sided seems to be quite, set, are we all in agreement? Reece James here?
No, I thought we were agreeing on Tomiyasu.
What?
Has to be RJ. Come on.
I have to say,
Lewandowski somehow made it to the right side.
He'll still score a hat-trick.
Incredible effort from Lewandowski.
Before we put Reece James in, though, I do want to say Tomiyasu's been quality, and I didn't expect that at all. I did not. I'll be honest. I laughed. Like when I saw the transfer, Arsenal got Tomiyasu. I was like,
I didn't know who it was.
Is this Arsenal's level? He's been great though, man. He's big, physical, gets stuck in. He's got that ruthlessness about him, and you don't really find that in Asian players a lot. They tend to be more technical rather than physical and throw everything on the line. And he's been that. He's been quality, man. But
he's very composed. Very composed.
I can't believe we didn't have a full-on debate about Trent Alexander-Arnold here. I mean, is he not a shout?
Not this season, no.
Not this season.
And I don't think defensively that's not his game, to be honest. I actually think if I'm an England manager, I'd be putting Trent further up the field and tucking in Reece behind him, because I think they'd be quite formidable on that right-hand side.
I don't even think Trent's a right back, to be honest. I think he's more of he's a playmaker.
Right wing back or even a centre mid. Yeah.
Yeah, a centre mid or maybe a right wing. Do you know what I mean? Or right wing back. Yeah, right wing back. Can you imagine as 5 in the back and having Trent Alexander-Arnold as a right wing back? Wow.
And Reece is RCB. That would be
and Reece is
impressive.
RCB. That right side would just be lit. Okay, so we've managed to keep Reece James on the right side.
Yeah.
So left side is a Cancelo? Is it any? I can't honestly, for the
Can't
life
think
of me,
of
I
anyone
can't think of another left-sided player in the Premier League.
Cresswell's been playing very well for West Ham.
Tierney
Very
does.
well.
Been injured though. Kieran Tierney.
Oh,
not had a good
yeah,
season.
Tierney injured.
Not
Cresswell
had a
11
good
games.
season though.
Cresswell's actually a very good shout. I mean, let's have a quick look.
Not against Cancelo though.
And if this conversation was 5 games into the season, I'd say Marcos Alonso. But not anymore.
Absolutely. For free kick taking ability, we put him in there. And for versing Spurs 10 times a year, definitely.
Exactly.
Live chat, I just want to let you know I was joking about Tomiyasu, yeah, boys. Ladies, gents, I was kidding.
You're so biased, Scott.
You're going to get the views.
Yeah.
I
knew
3
it was
assists
coming.
in Europa, one assist in the Premier League, 1 goal.
Who's this for?
Cresswell.
Yeah, this is Cresswell.
Cresswell.
Scored a goal against Newcastle, got an assist. I mean, look, defensively fine, but there's obviously been other players who have been defensively great and in attacking it's been fantastic. I think team of the season has to have Cancelo. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just for argument's sake, it's good to have other people to debate, but there isn't really a debate.
A few people in the live chat saying Nuno Tavares, who stepped in for Kieran Tierney. For us, he's been very good, but I just don't think he's played enough games, to be honest. He didn't start the season. He's only really played the last few, but in scintillating form, I mean, he'll be keeping Kieran Tierney potentially out of the team, which is something that was unimaginable as an Arsenal fan, but I just don't think he's played enough. I'm really happy with both wing backs.
Arsenal continue the way they do, and let's say we get together again in January when the winter break happens, I think, boys, in January, the week and a bit off or something like that. Doesn't that normally have? Well, didn't Premier League have like
Is there a winter
week
break?
and a half? Like end of January or was it early February, something like that? Wasn't there a break where some of the players, or was it the international break that I'm thinking? There was a
I know.
break.
I think pre-COVID and all of that, they started a break during Christmas just to make it a bit easier. But now, I don't think that's happening.
It's not happening. It's not happening. So the next one is the international break in March.
International break in March. Yeah, it's going to be ruthless up until that point.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if Tavares can keep up, then maybe that could be a conversation at that time. Let's have a quick look. So we've locked in the right side and the left side. Let's have a look at the vote. We've got nearly 40 votes. Kovacic is winning at 76%, and I think it's time to plug in.
Throw him in.
Mateo Kovacic.
Well done, Connor.
This midfield: Said Benrahma, Kovacic, Gallagher, Rice, Salah. My God!
Here's a question, really quick. If you search for Smith Rowe, does he show up as a silver, or is he in form?
He has some team of the week cards. I know that, but I'm not sure.
Don't forget, put Gallagher back in.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's down as in form. Okay. So.
He's down as in form. Yeah. Wow.
That card may or may not be on my bench. It is.
That's Gallagher silver. Surely something's wrong here.
Because he hasn't really played much Premier League football at Chelsea. They tend to just loan him out, really.
Yeah, when we bring them back, we know what they can do. So,
hey, centre back.
They're going to win the Premier League. That's what they're going to do. Let's do centre backs. Ladies and gentlemen,
Miz, can I be controversial?
Chelsea is the best. Their defensive stats are unbelievable.
This is where we come into the conversation.
We'll go with Younes. We'll go with Younes first. We'll then go to the boys. Younes, who's your LCB?
Rudiger.
It's very difficult to say no to this. Honestly, it's been unbelievable. RJ, any name that comes like Rudiger's just colossus.
No, he is. He's just a beacon of consistency, and for the Premier League and what else he brings to the table, the housery, as we know. No, but in all seriousness, he's just someone that he offers a lot of danger in both boxes, and to me, he's a stalwart. So for sure, lock him in.
Scott, Gabriel's name's being thrown around.
That's who I want. That's who I want in there with Rudiger, because you know what? Since he's come back and he missed the first 3. We all saw what happened to Arsenal in the first 3. I dare say Lukaku's goal tally would be lower had Gabriel played and not Pablo Mari, but We've conceded 4 goals since he's been back in the team. And that's about 7 Premier League appearances. So to me, he's been phenomenal. Came in
Clean
again
sheet
with
against Leicester, clean sheet against Watford, clean sheet against Leeds, but that was in the
conceded
Carabao
1
Cup.
to Villa.
1 to Villa, 2
None at Brighton,
against Palace, 9 in Brighton.
And 1
That's
at
what
Spurs.
that's where it started going right for Arsenal.
And
the
that's
Tottenham
it.
game.
Norwich game.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, to me, Gabriel...
Is he the turning point? Is he
Gabriel
the
don't help
difference?
No, but look, we've had a few turning points. Like we've talked about this before. I think Lacazette being given the responsibility of leading the line, Emile Smith-Rowe's form, but we all saw how
Ramsdale, very strong.
We saw how Arsenal defended without Gabriel in those first 3. We had Ben White at the
There's a
beginning.
goal as well here for Gabriel against Leicester.
To me, he's a no-brainer. There's no one else for me.
Okay.
Team of the season.
Let's throw some names. Rudiger. There's, you know what? Now Rudy's in. Like, let's forget this conversation first of all. This guy. Look
There we are.
at that picture. This guy is something special, Rudiger. Who are the top centre backs this season so far?
Yeah.
Let's throw some names first. Let's go team by team. Man United in the bin. No one from Man United. Harry Maguire in the bin straight away. Liverpool, Van Dijk and Matip, as good as they've been leaking goals. I don't know if they make it to the team of the season so
And if
far.
anything, Matip probably ahead of Van Dijk, if I'm honest.
Yeah, on form.
We've got a
Agreed.
big name here, boys.
Yep, Zuma's very good. Only if we had him at our team.
Zuma needs to be considered. Gabriel needs to be considered. Man City? Anyone
Diaz.
from Man City?
Diaz.
They did the number on us, I remember. But then again, we were so disjointed. Diaz looked after Lukaku that game. Both Diaz and Laporte looked after Lukaku, I remember. But
then Gallagher floored Diaz and turned him into a pretzel.
there you go. There you go. There's that factor, of course. Zuma is a big shout. Zuma is a big shout for West Ham.
Even Kufau, West Ham.
But is he a centre back?
Is he centre back? He is, isn't he?
I think he's a right-sided player, isn't he? Is he a centre back? I thought
It
it's
doesn't matter if he is, boys.
it's Igbona and Zuma, wasn't it? So far, there's a right-sided sort of right
It is
back.
Ogbonna. You're right. It is
It's
Ogbonna.
Ogbonna. It is definitely Ogbonna.
It's Ogbonna. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
A lot of people are saying Thiago Silva, boys. Are we missing something?
Not
here?
enough for me. Not enough because I'd actually put Christensen, to be honest, but they're both synonymous. I'd swap them interchangeably, but trying to be balanced as we can as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Scott makes a compelling argument, I've got to say. He's been very influential since they were obliterated the first couple of games, and he's not the only one. We know that. It's more to it than him.
RJ,
but he's been
another
very
name
influential. Mark E,
that's just been
good.
dropped is Gehi.
Yep, for Crystal Palace. But you look at the table, so the goals against, obviously Chelsea 4, Man City 6, and then it gets pretty grim after that for most clubs. You've got 13 for West Ham, Liverpool's conceded 11, Arsenal's conceded 13. Brighton and Wolves actually have conceded less with 12 each. So, and even Southampton conceded 12. So, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you say those names, but collectively some of those other clubs have been performing better defensively. So, it's a tricky one.
What did Arsenal concede in those first 3 games? We've actually conceded the least. We're ranked first for least amount of goals conceded in like the last 7, I think, which is lining up similarly with when Gabriel came back. Our defense has looked absolutely top notch. It can't be anyone other than him for me. I would even have him there over Christensen. It's not about balance to me.
There's actually a lot of Chelsea fans that are saying Gabriel as well.
That would be the main two, I think. There's a compelling point for Gabriel, though, for sure.
He's very good on the ball too. I mean, even
so has Christensen. But Gabriel's probably been there longer. I think the But the challenge with Christensen is he's probably a bit of a victim of his versatility in the fact that we've got Silva there and that he also plays on the right-hand side. So he's just one of the players that seems to be making way for players like Trev Chalobah as well, who's been another diamond in the rough for us. So, yeah, probably what's going against Christensen here is the fact that we've got other great defenders keeping him out at times.
Yeah.
Arsenal are playing a back four as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Gabriel to come in and have that impact is...
To me, he's the man.
I think so. The question I'm going to say is Gabriel on the left side, or on the right, because he's left-footed, right?
He's left.
You'd prefer him on the left, but he'll play on either. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Rudiger will tell him to play where he tells him to play.
Rudiger be like, I'm the captain now. You're playing on the right side.
Take a seat, buddy.
What for you? What makes you go Rudiger?
On the right?
Sorry. Why Rudiger over Christensen? I'm just curious. You watch more Chelsea than I do.
Oh, Rudiger's a tank.
Yeah, Rudiger's driving runs as well from the LCB position. He's been flawless defensively, positional awareness. My only concern, though, in a back four, I've seen Rudy in a back four previously.
I prefer
does
not to
get
speak.
caught. He gets caught out. He's fantastic in a back three. He does get caught out in a back four. But we've said we're not going to take in consideration of the formation. It's who has been fantastic right now. Reece James hasn't really been playing right back. He's been playing right wing back, but we've considered him as a right back. So Rudy gets in. Shall we lock in Gabriel here, boys?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
I'm fine with that.
Let's put that in. I think quite a few people in the live chat is also saying Gabriel is also saying.
I thought you were gonna lock in Maguire there, Miz.
Why can't
he
I
scored
find
a goal
this
the other day.
Yes,
He's the best player in the world.
Against Albania, and he
That
was
doesn't matter.
he was shushing everyone.
believe
You know,
you've done
I'm not
that.
listening. I'm not. Shush.
You scored against
Albania.
mate.
It's good to see Roy Keane agreed with his celebrations. That's the main thing.
Roy Keane, I love him, man. I want him to smash players like that on a regular basis, to be honest.
Boys, should we just say Ramsdale and go to sleep? Or what?
Oh, you should
Yeah.
go to sleep, mate.
You should go to sleep on that, man. I think this is undoubtedly, I think the boys, I don't even need to go. There's just few players here that we just don't need to consult, and Mendy is undoubtedly that needs to be in the back.
I do want to
Younes,
say,
yeah.
if Mendy didn't exist,
It's Ramsdale.
Ramsdale all day long, right?
He saves against was it Aston Villa?
Leicester.
Yeah.
Or Leicester?
Both.
Both, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't
Unbelievable.
know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how Pickford started for England. Like Ded said, I looked at that.
Me too.
Mate, Gareth Southgate is the English Ollie. Terrible. I don't know how he didn't get a start.
Southgate at the
We'll
wheels,
see.
man.
We'll see what he does against San Marino tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see. He better start picking other players. Yeah.
Martinez is a very good shout. Some of the saves he
playing well.
made
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
game. Who did Aston Villa play last game where Dean Smith got sacked? He pulled out some saves and a half. Martinez.
He's had a few clangers though this season. Like his form's been a little bit dippy. Since we pummeled them. Like he kept really poorly against us. He's had a couple of little mistakes.
But Ramsdale too, though, against Watford, he came out, almost collided with the defender, and Joshua King actually put the ball wide. That would have been a classic keeper clanger. But, the point is, one incident's not going to define your season. I actually think we like to have a laugh, but De Gea has actually been saving United a few too many times.
Actually, yes. Yes.
But he has had a couple of mistakes in him, but he's been, on the whole, he's been actually keeping them in games, unfortunately.
If it wasn't for him, Liverpool would have put 10 past him.
Yeah. If it wasn't for him, Man City should have scored 6 minimum.
Yeah, that too.
But then again, Bernardo Silva's goal, whose was it?
Luke Shaw for me.
Was it Luke Shaw's or was it?
Both,
his?
but yeah, more Shaw, to be honest.
But
Okay.
He's
for
been
this,
good.
Mendy all day long, man. I mean,
Yeah,
his
man.
performance against Brentford alone. I saw on the Fifth Stand app. Scott, that's the Chelsea app, by the way.
He's got it on his home
just to
screen,
clarify.
Younes.
He's got it downloaded. He's a regular user. He plays Blake Predictor.
Yes.
They asked, who's your player of the season so far? And everyone chose Mendy just because of the Brentford game. Like 60-something% had Mendy.
We did not deserve to win that game.
No.
Even Aston Villa, boys.
got us
Even
on the
Aston
roll.
Villa, remember? It was 1-0 against Aston Villa, and he made those 3-4 saves. We could have easily lost that game against Villa if it wasn't for him.
100%. But that Brentford one, boys, honestly, that should have been 3 points for Brentford, if I'm being honest. They should have scored. He's pulled out some saves out of nowhere. Okay, so we've now locked in the team. Antonio up front, Said Benrahma on the left, Kovacic, Declan Rice, Gallagher, midfield trio. That's powerhouse. Honestly, that is very powerful. Salah on the right side. Oh, it's just some African beauties on the wings, isn't it? Like Benrahma and Salah, brilliant. Reece James on the right back, Cancelo on the left back, only because we need to put Cancelo in. And let's be honest, there hasn't been any good left backs out there this season, or standout left backs. Rudiger, Gabriel, somehow Scott's managed to put in an Arsenal player in there. I was very skeptical that any Arsenal players would make it. Mendy to wrap up the team. I mean, live chat, let us know where this team would finish in the Premier League. I want to ask the boys now. Younes, go to you first up. Where would this team finish?
That team will finish second because Chelsea will win the league.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm just saying. It's a good team. Where would it finish?
It's a strong team.
Definitely, yeah. It's a very strong team. I'd reckon top two, definitely top three.
Title contenders?
Yeah.
I like it. RJ, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely top three. A lot of firepower there, but very defensively solid too. I actually think very strong team. Might get a bit unstuck against some of the more technical teams at times, but yeah.
Nah, we've got Mo Salah.
Very exciting to watch.
Mo Salah's there, man. Come on. No getting stuck nowhere.
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't really talk about a very important member of this team.
Manager?
I know we're looking at the players. Who would be at the wheel?
Obviously, Ollie.
Tommy
He's got
Tuchel.
19 lives.
David Moyes, Tommy Tuchel.
Tommy
Between those
Tuchel,
two.
David Moyes, it'll be between those two.
No, Dean Smith all day long.
Dean Smith, the Norwich coach. It has to be the top of the table in the Premier League, European champion, Tommy Tuchel, to lead this lineup. This lineup, let's have a look at one more time. Tommy Tuchel is leading this line. We are winning everything with this. The
I'm
World
okay
Cup,
with that.
Easy.
the lot. Mendy as goalkeeper. You're not scoring. Just straight away. You are not scoring. Reece James on the right side. Cancel. You know what? Forget it. This team's winning. That's it. We don't need to discuss anymore. I think we figured out that this is a dynamic team. It's unbelievable firepower everywhere. Antonio, is there a better number 9, powerful number 9 at the moment? Unbelievable. Well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this particular show. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Before we go, please smash the like button. Honestly, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this in the international break. Not much going on in terms of news-wise, so we couldn't give you any news. We thought we might as well do this. So smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Check out the boys, Scott and RJ, their YouTube channel in the description right now. Please help them out. They've actually got, I'll let you guys plug. Who you guys got? Simon Hill coming up soon.
Yeah, RJ, you want to give that a plug, mate?
Yeah, just quickly. So awesome to see, a lot of people in the chat. So tomorrow, Scott has managed to bring in highly respected football journalist, commentator, and reporter Simon Hill, who's broadcast Champions League, Premier League, and the like. So feel free to check it out tomorrow. Drop a question, and we're going to talk things because he's a Manchester City fan. So he's going to do a deep dive on City's performance thus far, and talk a little bit about the Premier League more broadly, and a little bit about international football. So if you've got nothing on, check us out. The link's in the description, and hope we have a great episode.
Absolutely.
Younes, what you got coming up, my man?
So yeah, international break is obviously it's coming to an end soon. Thank God. But Reddit Monday today, so we'll be dropping the Reddit later. That'll be fun. And then keeping up with all the ins and outs of what's happening in the football world up until the weekend, where we preview Leicester Chelsea. So yeah, keeping it on the daily.
Brilliant, man. If honestly, I don't know how many of you guys tune in on. I'm sure you watch Younes' channel on a regular basis, but if you don't watch his watch-alongs, you're missing out. You're not watching football. You're not doing it the right thing. I mean, as much as I love you guys to come to my channel and watch the watch-alongs, but honestly, his watch-alongs are unbelievable. Sometimes I'm doing my watch-along. I'm actually looking at Younes' watch-along. So, I'm cheating a little
Your
bit.
watch-along's me watching mine.
Yeah.
Like, you watching mine.
My watch-along is Younes' watch-along.
Scott and I are going to have to do a watch-along watching Miz do his watch-along watching Younes' watch-along. I think that's what's going to have to happen.
Honestly,
Younes, I'll keep my phone handy for when Arsenal and Chelsea play, mate. If you need me, you let me know.
I kid you not. I don't know if you've watched any of his watch-alongs. Check it out. Like
I haven't yet, but I will.
Best one in Chelsea, undoubtedly.
Thank you.
As I said, hope you guys have enjoyed this. Wherever you are, stay safe, be well, and until next time, see ya.